Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. My opponent has changed his team slightly, and this time he's put Royal Guard in instead of Aayla Secura. For this first battle that we're going to put in Emperor Palpatine's leadership, so not only is he going to gain that turn meter, but I am looking to apply the shock to stop them gaining turn meter where possible, and more importantly to stop them healing. This is definitely one solid lineup that looks for the times outs, or it's just going to tear my team out from the inside. This particular setup is very, very strong. I didn't want to go in with a full Empire team because I tried that yesterday and it didn't really work that well. You know, we had Boba Fett in there, but I wanted to try and still keep some DPS because they have some high HP, and even with crits or non-crits, it's still got a 5-minute timer. So I want to try and beat down this team as much as possible. The team that we are against isn't as glamorous on the offense. It does work and you can do it, but it does require you to use, against some teams, the auto function, because even your team can still outlast, with the low damage that it does, the other team, and it could take up to 5 minutes or more to defeat them. Something to definitely be aware of, that Barris Zeta at the moment carries on after her death. This may be something that is changed in the future and adjusted upon death, that it does not work anymore and falls in line with other characters like Echo and so forth. So please be aware that if you are going in for her Zeta, to put this as consideration, because this may be nerfed. But that being said, in some teams it will be very, very difficult for you to focus on Barris first. Like, for an example, if you used a General Kenobi lead, right, then you had Barris and that and 5, so you're already getting that little trio that they've got going on. But instead of having B2 or RG or Aayla, you then put in Baze and Sherut Emwe. That makes me scared. I will admit that. That does scare me on a serious level. Who do you attack first when you've got 3 taunters, 3 counter-attackers, you've got a Dispeller in there, and you've got 3 cleansers? It's scary just to think about, but this is something that may happen. Barris definitely can be put into any team possible. She's going to heal upon crit, so she can be put into there, but the more tankier the team, the better it's going to perform. So for example, if you've got Palpatine at 15k health, and that's the HP he's going to get, every time you crit on him, he's going to heal for about 3k. So it's not really going to be doing much to him compared to someone like Fives that could be healing for about 8k, but also with that reduced damage coming in from the GK lead. All these characters that you see on the opposite team that are benefiting from this health are actually modded with health mods. So if you want to see some of their stats at the end of this video, I will put them up to what the enemy has. So what I've done currently in this battle, I've gone for the turn order and I have gone for General Kenobi first, then I'm going for Barris. But as you can see, as I don't have an attacking leadership that's going to benefit Wedge and Biggs, we're not doing anything to Barris. She is just healing. It is crazy. I can't even dent her. Then you've got Royal Guard that then protects her. It is very, very difficult. And this is quite the ultimate defensive form. You know, you've got other forms out there that you could use, like Vader Zeta, for example, with Boba Fett, would probably be your best bet versus this team. So you want to be getting all them dots. You want to be getting all those heals on them. And pretty much you want to be striking them out with Colin Blade. You then want to be taking them out with the Boba Fett Execute. But it is definitely very, very hard. If you don't have an attacking lead, you're not going to be doing that much damage against a character that has high defense and is healing a lot of that too. So as you can see, I am scratching at a wall, so we're going to move on to our next battle, where guess what guys, I actually defeat the team, but I do use General Kenobi, and General Kenobi is my support in my team, and this where it does make him viable. I currently do not have an auto taunter, so I have no one that's going to be soaking up the damage, but to be honest, with B2 there, you're going to need a cleanser if you are using these taunters. I've got some fact there for the sole reason of being able to dispel all these taunts that are going on. So you're going to have the taunt from RG, you're going to have the taunt from General Kenobi, you're going to have that crit immunity, and you're also going to have Fives taunted whenever he does a special attack. The current turn order of attacks that I'm going for is I'm going to try and take down General Kenobi first to stop him giving out that crit immunity, and more importantly to stop him cleansing and taunting and all the added extra benefits that he brings to the team. Then I'm going to have to go after Royal Guard, because if I do go after Barris, where she is important, but once she gets below 50% health, Royal Guard is then going to taunt, and she's just going to then pretty much heal herself, and that's going to be from her heal itself, and then they're all going to attack me, and it doesn't always look pretty. So we're going to take Royal Guard out, then we will go after Barris, then we'll go after B2, then leave Fives till the last. Fives is very, very hard to sometimes defeat, so I will definitely leave him until I've got more where I can pull up a taunt on Sunfac, for example, and let him just counter-attack versus Sunfac while the rest of my team does the damage. Without General Kenobi being the leader, then it's definitely easier to beat. There isn't all this extra defense or extra HP, depending who the leader is, but Barris may not be suitable with Fives. She can still go with Fives in another team under maybe, for example, a Zeta or other teams like that, but as this team stands without a General Kenobi, Fives and Barris would be a lot easier to take down. It will still take a little while, but it would not be anywhere as close to this as what it currently is. That brings me on to you as a viewer. You're seeing this and you do see it as very, very strong, and indeed it is very, very strong, but it is beatable even without General Kenobi. And the way you've got to do that is look where you're going to be putting your Zetas in elsewhere. If you are wanting to beat this team, then you don't want to be making a team that is identical to this team, because if everyone starts making a team like this, nobody's going to beat each other. You're all going to be timing out, and that will be the end of it. And it's not something that you really want to be doing. You want to be staying ahead of the meta. And where are we currently at the meta? We're at Rogue One. And there's going to be more Empire characters, and that's definitely going to lean towards a Zeta lead. And that is something that if you went with a Zeta lead, then you did Barris and Boba Fett afterwards, then that would make perfect sense. But to copy this exact team and to go for that team is you're not going to be beating it, and that's how you stay one step ahead of the actual meta, and that is predicting the meta. And if this does become the meta and it does pick off, then you want to be having an anti-meta, and that would be a Darth Vader Zeta lead, which would work wonders versus this team. Before we go through all the mods, if you do like this video, then please remember to leave a like, and if you haven't already subscribed, then please do that right now.